country and the globe. Just a minute. Sorry, I got some message from the telephone call. Sorry. So again, if we look to the history of the food safety regulation in the nation, previously we had a PF Act, because it was a Prevention of Food Addiction Act of 1954. It was 6 decades old act, and now it's been come out with the new act known as a Food Safety and Standard Act. The act itself mentioned that two important components, safety and standards, which were lacking in the previous act. The previous act was addressing only the addition part. Here we have a safety and standard. Two new additional components came into effect from the 5th of August 2011, and PF Act was scrapped out by the Government of India. Then as a regulator, as a public servant, when we enforce, we focus mainly on 3 basic principles: the common man's interest, the consumer, the citizen. The quality of the food we are consuming, almost its top priority, and the genuine interest of the food business operator. Friend, in Gujarat, we have almost 65 million of population, and we have a small team of the FDC, almost 450 people working with me, and enforcement of the Food Safety Act, the Drug and Cosmetic Act, Drug Pricing Order, and so on. So, and then if you look to the FBO's number, so almost license and registration altogether is almost 2.25 lakhs food processing. It starts from the small registered Golgappawala and the big unit like Amul operations. So altogether, the number are very large. 2.25 lakhs license register holders as of now function in the state of Gujarat. So as a FDC team, we have a we have a Food Safety Authority of India. We have a State Food Safety Authority, which includes the Food Safety Officer, Senior Food Safety Officers, District Officer at the district level, Educating Officer for Education, and Commissioner of Food Safety at the capital of the state. So this constitutes a food safety team of the state, and we have to take care of the food safety of the 65 million people of the state of Gujarat. We have to render services to the 2.25 lakhs FBOs by way of issuing them licenses, registration, certificates, and many times guiding them, supporting them by way of education, IC activity, and so on. Then as a food safety officer, because many times if something goes wrong, people blame to the Food Safety Authority or Food Safety Officer. But it's a shared responsibility, as the topic is mentioned. Because the Food Safety Officer is not sitting in front of any FBO for 24/7. Most of the time, in this part, we visit, we surprise, we take visit. Every time on the basis of the consumer complaint, we do audit and inspect, and take corrective and preventive actions. But it's a shared responsibility. As I mentioned, when we issue the license to FBO, it's the prime duty of the food business operator to produce a safe and quality food for his outlets. Yes, as a citizen, it's the duty of the citizen also to make sure that whatever he is getting is of standard and safe quality. It's fundamental right of the citizen to get the safe food, to have a right to have a safe food. So it's a jointly as a consumer, as a citizen, as a FBO, and as a government, like Food Safety Authority of the state or the Food Safety Authority of India. Mostly FSSAI, they make the rules and regulation, the policy for the nation. and at the state level, State Food Safety Authority, they are the execution part, enforcement part, and they really make the things happen at the ground level. So whatever our rules and regulations are made, they are for the welfare of the society, for the well-being of the society, and it's a large interest of the society. It includes the citizen, FBOs, and all the stakeholders. Friend, if we, I spoke to the Gujarat perspective when I'm looking for the state of Gujarat, and I'm fortunate that I'm heading this department for last more than 1 decades. And after my supervision, government continued me as a FDA commissioner in the state of Gujarat. Friend, in Gujarat, we have as I mentioned, we have a 2.25 lakhs plus FBOs in function in the state of Gujarat. Even this COVID time, even the lockdown time, being a food industry is a backbone, because without food, nobody can survive. From our birth to end of the life, we need a quality and nutritive food to survive oneself. So food industry was exempted from this lockdown, and we also supported the industry to run their operations smoothly. So there is adequate supply of the important food articles during the lockdown time in the state and in the country. Initially, in the first lockdown, the food processing industry and outlets, its outputs has come down as low as almost 29%. But with the support of my government, my team, the district magistrates, and we convinced them, we have given, issued them a pass with support of our food safety team. And now I think almost this food processing industry is running at almost 75 to 80% outputs, and almost 80% industries are functioning in the state of Gujarat during this fifth lockdown and 1.0 unlock. So this is how we are supporting the industry and make sure that there is a continuous and adequate supply of the quality food for the citizen in the state and in the country. So to take care of the quality, because when it is a shared responsibility, so as a regulator, our job is to weed out the black sheep in the market. So out of 100, almost 90 to 94% FBOs are the genuine. They don't want to violate the law of the land. They want to comply with the law of the land. They don't want to adulterate anything deliberately. But yes, there are some 6 to 8% people who want to make money overnight and with fly-by-night approach. And most of the adulteration we have come across is mostly economical motivated adulteration, to gain more profit out of adulteration. And to cut this, what we did, we usually doing a lot of sampling, surveillance, inspection, surprise visit. We have a high-tech lab, because the lab is again our backbone. Namaste, Gaur sir. Namaste, sir.
Yeah, I would like to welcome Gaur Saab.
Yes,
he has
sir.
just joined.
Yes.
Yes. Sir, we have just started our webinar.
Yeah, please carry on. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, please,
Sir,
Dr. Ghosh. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, sir. Well, after a long time, I'm happy to see you in good health and sir, I'm happy that you are heading this prestigious organization like Center for Quality and Food Safety, sir. Initially, I spoke about it, sir, but I miss you. But I'm happy to see you right now, sir.
Yes, we will need a helping hand from all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. So, sir, usually what we do special drive, because most of the adulteration, as I mentioned, it is economically motivated thoughts. So many times, because in Gujarat, because people are mostly they're liking edible oil is groundnut oil, and groundnut oil's price are higher as compared to the soybean or palm oil. So once the edible oil is refined, it lost its flavor and the color. So it's those who want to do something wrong intentionally, they replace the refined oil, because usually consumer check the quality with the organoleptic taste, its flavor, its color while purchasing. And many times across our investigation and the raid, we come across some leading oil mills in the Saurashtra region of the Gujarat. They were replacing this groundnut oil with some 80% of refined soybean oil, because the prices of the soybean oil is much lower as compared to the groundnut oil. And to eyewash the customer, they were adding the peanut flavor to that refined oil. So whenever, as a customer, you are buying from the market, it gives a strong flavor of the groundnut oil, because they have added the peanut flavor, artificially prepared peanut flavor, and it's falsified. And we have busted many cases and prosecuted them in court of law. Same thing in the milk fat, the ghee, because we are consuming a lot of ghee, and now there is a lot of demand of the holistic approach, the cow ghee. So again, in the ghee sector, there are some black sheeps operated in the market. So what was their modus of operandi? They operate their factory in the midnight, 10 to 4 o'clock in the midnight. They start their operation at 10:30 night. They have a automatic machine, blending, mixing, packing, filling, and within 6-8 hours of time, they prepare a truck's load of duplicate ghee, so-called ghee. And we also raided many factories with the help of the police department and my team. And what was their modus operandi? They were using this soybean oil, ghee flavor, some color, and very good packing material, where its pack is look like sometime a look-alike packing of Amul ghee, or sometime green field, some grazing cows, and sometime Lord Krishna with laddu. So it gives the false impression to the customer that this is the original ghee. But with our raid, we found that there were hardly a single drop of pure milk fat found in their factory, and they were substituting the ghee with this soybean oil, ghee flavor, color, and some vegetable fats. So almost more than 25 units in the state of Gujarat we have closed down. We have filed criminal proceeding against them, and most of them are away from the business. And as a food safety team, again, we have a hierarchy in the ground level. In the field level, we have a food safety officer. We have a senior food safety officer. We have designated officers. We have a commissioner of food safety. Again, we have duties and the responsibility. Again, it's a shared responsibility. So we have given the mandate to all the DOs, because our operations are all in the district offices, and they are supported by the food safety officer and the senior food safety officers. Mostly food safety officers look after for the sales part of this food, and the senior food safety officer look after the management parts of that particular districts. And designated officer is the licensing authority for that particular districts, and the controlling both the food safety officers and the food business officer in that jurisdiction. So we also make given a memo to all the officers that if something goes wrong in that particular districts or that taluka, it will be the direct responsibility of that food safety officer or the DO if they are not addressing and if they are ignoring that part. So we have given very strict instruction from our top government bureaucracy that it's a responsibility of the each and every officers functioning in the district level, taluka level, that they have to make sure that their jurisdiction is functional in a so manner that the citizen within that locality get the safe and the wholesome food, and there should not be any deliberate adulteration. Yes, it is a shared responsibility because most of the food supply chain we depend on the agricultural produce. So again, only Food Safety Commissioner and his team and the health department. So we have to again keep continuous dialogue with the agriculture department, because there are a lot of contaminants. It's not adulteration, because many times fruits and vegetables comes in the market, and if the farmer is not properly educated and is indiscriminately using this insecticide and pesticide during the harvesting time, so whatever he's spraying on the vegetable, and next day morning he is harvesting the same food where it's come in the market, and if you consume, so there was no intended adulteration in the vegetable or fruit, but it's contaminants, pesticide residue or insect residue, it's come along with the food or vegetables because of indiscriminate use of the insecticide, pesticide, and want and lack of knowledge at the farmer level. So we need to inculcate the good agricultural practices for those who are engaged in this particularly vegetables and the fruits. And also many times we also have a continuous dialogue with our secretary in agriculture department, and we try to
Where's my right earphone?
build a larger farmer group in the state of Gujarat.
कर क्या रहे हो? कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे।
I think somebody's audio is on. I think, can you please mute your audio, please? So it's a shared responsibility within the state also, health department, agriculture department, and is a cross-functional and coordination is very much required to have a safe and wholesome food in the market. As a food safety team, because many times the wrongdoer, they also deliberately doing and they are misusing the science. I'm giving some example. Whenever we come across some instance in the state of Gujarat a few years back. So whenever you are buying loose milk from the milk vendor, most of in Gujarat we have tradition that shepherd come to home and with can and they deliver the loose milk as per your demand. So during summertime, there is a limited buffaloes and cow. Because of the summer and because of the climate, hot climate, the milk production is goes down. Demand is continuously same. So there is a gap in the supply and demand. So whenever there is a gap and when there is a bigger gap, this adulteration part come in place and where our responsibility is increased. So in summertime, when the demand of milk is remain same, supply is shortened. So milk vendor, they add water to that milk and sell to the domestic houses. The domestic housewives, they are also smart, looking to the density of the milk. They identify and they ask the milk delivery boys, आज आपका दूध पतला है, पानी वाला है, घट नहीं है. तो वो जो रिडसेट करके लाया है उसको तो माइंड में फियर है, उसने पानी डाला है. तो व्हाट यू डू, वो घर जाएगा और जाएगा कि कस्टमर ने आज मुझे पकड़ लिया, तो घर जाके वो नेक्स्ट डे मार्केट स्टार्च पाउडर लेगा, दूध के अंदर पानी डालेगा, स्टार्च पाउडर डालेगा, होमोनाइज करेगा. तो पानी है, मिल्क है, स्टार्च है, सब एडिबल है, कोई ऐसे इंजूरियस हेल्थ तो नहीं है. फिर भी वो पानी डाल के इट गिव्स द फॉल्स इंप्रेशन ऑफ द ओरिजिनल थिक मिल्क. नेक्स्ट डे वही एडिल्टरेटेड मिल्क देगा, फिर वो कस्टमर बोलेगा नहीं आज तो दूध ठीक लाया, वो ठीक नहीं लाया, वो अगेन ही चीटेड द कस्टमर. तो वो निकालने के लिए वी हैव डिवाइस a handle device, a kit where we have put a weak iodine solution in that kit, and we are taught in our 8th and 9th grade that whenever iodine mixed with the starch, it turns to blue color. So one drop of iodine in the milk it turns blue means it is related with the starch. So instantly, immediately, we can take preventive and punitive action to these adulterants. So all my food safety officers are having this handy kit along with them. So on the spot, almost 23 type of different adulteration we can detect. And now thanks to FSSAI, because now they have come out with the larger scale, it's known as a magic box, almost 53 types of different adulteration we can detect by using that magic box. We have also a mobile food testing lab that in spite of sending the food sample to the lab and waiting for the result for 14 days, and by the time we get the report, if food is not fit for consumption, but being a perishable food, food is consumed. So as a regulator, we were miserably failing in preventive action, though we are used to take the punitive action, but preventive part we are miserably failing. So by using this mobile food testing lab, so instantly, immediately, if there is something wrong in that food article, if we detect, because our food team, because our regulation, science-based regulation, our food safety team are also having a science background. Most of them are Master of Science, having chemistry, microbiology, food technology, dairy technology, agriculture, and so on. So immediately they can sense it, they can detect on the spot. So it's a primary detection. Based on that, they draw the legal sample, and whatever food stuff, they seize it or they make them to destroy it. So we can protect the public health by not allowing this unsafe or misbranded or adulterated food to the citizen. So by using this mobile food testing lab in Gujarat, we are able to make sure that our as a judicial duty to protect and promote the public health through scientific regulation. Yes, Konkorkar sir has rightly mentioned in the opening remarks that yes, my team and my government supported me, and we did excellent work in this age-old PFA cases. Almost when this transit was happened, because the PFA Act was in force since 1954, and there were almost 5,000 plus old PFA cases in different JMFC courts across the state of the Gujarat. And I have calculated those food safety officer who was in the service for almost 15-20 years, almost 100 cases are carrying by 100 officers. And 80% of his time he was investing in attending the court cases, because every 3 years we are transferring his districts, and these JMFC courts are taluka level courts. So if it is in Kutch, Bhuj, and transferred to Ahmedabad or Ahmedabad to Junagadh, so most of the time he has to travel to the court of law, and most of the time we are missing him in the actual field work. Even the FBO, because the small tiny offense of misbranding or some substandard drugs, substandard food, and that court cases is pending in 20 years, 25 years in the court of law, and the citizen also under harassment. And yes, the judiciary, they are also wasting their precious time in trivial issues. So we are thankful to our Honorable High Court of Gujarat, our legal judicial academy, and my legal department, all my secretaries and seniors, they have supported me. And again, thanks to the FSSAI, because they have given one letter and the one Supreme Court judgment that old PFA cases can be, if these are not harmful, injurious to health, then can be concluded in line with the new FSSAI Act, because in the new FSSAI Act, we have a graded penalty for small and trivial issue. We need not to go to the criminal cases, but just through education with fine, we are filing that cases. And I asked my team to go through all 5,000 plus PFA cases. Out of this, we have identified there were 3,300 cases which were only misbranding and small trivial issues. And with the support of our High Court, we have a special sittings, and within a span of almost 6 months, we have disposed of all 3,700 age-old PFA cases. And it was not gone free, but the court has fined them, and almost 13 crores of worth fine we have collected. And so it was a win-win situation for my officer, for the citizens, and the judiciary. And now, whatever we have a handful of officers, they can spend their more time in the enforcement activity, inspection, investigation, sampling, education. And this is how we are making the best usage of our limited resources in the enforcement and very scientifically and judicially. So again, Clean Street Food Hub, again, I would like to share with you. So thanks to the FSSAI, because they have come out with the guideline of the Clean Street Food Hub in the nation. And thanks to my team and my local administration, the Gujarat, among the Ahmedabad, the Kakeria was the first Clean Street Food Hub. We earned that tag. And as of now, we have almost 7 states which are declared as a Clean Street Food Hub. And there are a few in the pipeline because of the COVID. We have now under the whole condition. But again, we also take care that those who cannot afford to go to the 3-star or 5-star hotels, and those are getting their food in the street, that food street is also safe and hygienic to the citizen. So with this commitment and with this government resources, because we are working in the health department, if we look to the budget-wise, the Food and Drug Administration, we are small, almost 1% of the entire health budget of the state. But yes, budgetary we are very small, but individually we are touching everybody's life, because either food or drug, everybody is taking every day, every time. So to make sure that whatever they are consuming is of safe quality, if standard quality, it is free from adulteration and contamination, and we make sure that with our government interested food safety authority, we make sure that whatever citizen get in the jurisdiction is of safe and standard quality. Even this during COVID time, when the milk and medicine shops allowed to sell, because these are the essential commodities, even we make sure that during this COVID time, there should not be any black sheep come in market and do something wrong with the public health. So during this COVID time also, we have collected almost 250 samples of the milk. And out of this, almost 12 were detected adulterated. So even this COVID tough time also, my team is working in the field with the utmost safety of my team, safety of that food business operator. And we make sure that whatever citizens are getting is of standard and safe quality. So with this, I think I have given a lot of long talk. Thank you again. Thank you, V.N. Gaur sir. Thank you, Kongkokshar sir, because they are the top CEOs of the FSSAI, and the Center for Quality and Food Safety is blessed with their presence, and under their guidance, I think Center will further prosperous in this food safety area. Thank you, Madhavan, and all the participants for patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Koshia. Like your speech also had been crispy, very to the point. We all liked it. See, there is you're a man of experience. As Dr. Kongkokshar was telling, no, you are probably the longest sitting food safety commissioner in the country.
Yes, sir. I'm fortunate. Yes, sir.
I've seen you in 2011 when the notifications were, the regulations were notified under the guidance of Gaur Saab. I was also there. From that time onwards, I had been seeing you as food safety commissioner. And your resume says that you had been made food safety commissioner on that very particular day.
Yes, sir.
That is 5th August 2011 onwards, you are a food safety. That is something record.
Yes,
that will go on record, I should say. It's not a joke. It's not a simple thing. It's a big credit for you and your state. And I'm told that in Gujarat leads the country in especially that street food vending.
Yes.
The safety of street food. We had a lot of, when I was in FSSAI also, we really had a lot of problems coming in how to manage that street food. And you have shown classic example to the whole country. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the whole, your presentation was really nice. And now I'm throwing the session open for question answers.
Yes,
Anybody
sir, I
can?
have a question.
Yeah, Sakshi Desai is from Maharashtra. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning, all. So my question is what is the current situation of food business in India?
In
India.
India.
Yeah.
No, but the question is very superficial. Yeah. What is the current situation of food safety in India?
I mean
Food
food
business in
safety of
India.
food business. Food
Food
business.
business.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Questions
as
about
I mentioned,
For which time?
as I mentioned my remark, because business is a evergreen business in India, because everybody needs it to live, and even this during COVID-19 time, where we don't have a right treatment protocol, I think the safe food is important part of the treatment. Any government hospital or any COVID care center, the patients are given 6 time food this morning, soup, breakfast, lunch, high tea, dinner, even the late night, the golden milk with the turmeric. So I think food business is the evershine business, because it connects with everybody's life. And India, as mentioned, it's one of the leading and state in the food business and food processing. I was fortunate long back. My state government has asked me to join this internship food program at Michigan State University. So almost there 23 country participants were there. I'm talking about some 7 years back. So there are a lot of European and American food safety enforcement agencies were there, and most of them were talking about how 103 billion people and a small team of food safety taking care of it. And likely I mentioned that in India we have almost we largely can mostly be prepared fresh, consume fresh. So we have hardly an issue of the this food contamination or food enforcement issue. So again, food is a very prosperous business in India. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, I want to ask, is it so milk which is exported outside the state is good or local milk is good, which is
Pardon?
manufactured in the state only? Like I had done my internship from GCMMF from Gujarat in the year 2007. So we used to grade ABC as ABC. So A used to consider as a good quality milk, which has to be exported out of Gujarat. So is it so? Like I am living in Hyderabad right now, and we have Vijay as a local brand milk in Hyderabad. So is it so? Amul has the better quality than Vijaya, because Vijaya is locally prepared and Amul is being exported from Gujarat.
So, ma'am, milk again, the source of milk is a milching animal, mostly cow and the buffaloes.
Yes, sir.
So many times it's some marketing gimmicks and the mimics to promote that product. But if we talk about the nutritional point of view, I think wholesome and whole milk again full of protein, vitamins, minerals. So I think there's hardly any difference. Yes, there are different grades as per the FSSAI, because the whole milk, we have a tone milk, double tone milk, standard milk, based on that milk fat percentage.
And I also use personally as Amul milk, Amul skim milk. So blue color packet. And one more question, sir, is if you recommend some quality ghee in market available now, because every now and then you are like testing sampling done by your department. So is it so, like, what quality of tea? Like, it's a big question because we are giving to our children, sir.
Yeah, because he is widely consumed by the citizen. Almost everybody is having tea. So far, he is concerned, as I mentioned, we have come across almost, and we have closed down almost 25 factories which have been manufacturing the fake tea. And the name of tea, they were giving vegetable fat, the soybean oil, tea flavor and color. But there are two black sheeps in the market. So while buying a product, you have to be more cautious. And mostly we come across that big brands, because when manufactured company, they are mostly meeting the standard. But again, in big brand also, there are some black sheeps that we can copy. When Amul, there are instances we come across that people are packing under the name, under the brand of Amul. So you have to be cautious as a customer while purchasing your tea. So always try to get it from the authorized and known vendors. Always try to have a purchase bill. If it is dubious, he will not give you the bill. And if you are in doubt of the quality, immediately contact your nearest food safety authority in your jurisdiction.
And one more, sir, question, that is it any, like, open forum is there where we can complain directly? Open
So,
forum?
I think in Gujarat we have a online complaint module. We have a toll-free number. Even the FSI is also toll-free number in the complaint module, or they can complain online also. So they can divert that to concerned DO or the concerned state or the concerned food safety authority. Yes, that mechanism is there. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
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 Yeah, Dr. Lakhvinder ji.
Yeah.
Please.
Can I
Hello.
ask the question?
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Sir, my question is, like, everybody is worried about food safety right now, and post lockdown also people are aware that food safety is a going to be a big concern. So what do you think that in post lockdown will people be able to maintain the food safety, or they will not take care of this because they have to recover their losses also during the lockdown? So what scenario will it be? Will it be a full food safety taken care of, or they will not be? So kindly, if you can give some perspective on this.
Yes, ma'am. We are very much concerned about the public health and the food safety during this lockdown period also. During lockdown 1, 2, and 3, almost 45 days, it was a continuous closure of all sweet shops, the namkeen shops, farsan shops, except kirana. So because these sweets and namkeens are perishable, they have a shelf life. So with my district team, we have visited almost 3,500 places across the state of Gujarat, and almost 55 tons of grilled food we have compelled them to destroy. We want goes in the hand of the citizen. So again, we did a lot of enforcement activity during this lockdown period also. There are the FBOs, they सामने से डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं, मगर there are some greedy लोग हैं, वो खिला देंगे करके रखते हैं, तो उसको we have compelled them to destroy. And almost 55 tons से भी ज़्यादा जो fruits थे, the namkeens and the oil food, वो करवाया है. So obviously.
Okay, thank you. That means food safety will be taken care even after the post-lockdown.
Yes.
People are there to help us. Because I have seen many vendors who have just come up after this announcement of reopening of the shops, and just to compromise, they are compromising on the quality because they have to cover up their losses during the lockdown. So that was a big concern for the public.
No, ma'am, as I mentioned, because almost 90% people are law-abided, they are very, to their brand and their quality. And they don't want to do anything wrong deliberately. But yes, there are some black sheep. That is why she go through in the center of the state we are here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, any other questions? There's a question.
No, I was just trying to compliment Dr. Koshia
Thank you, sir.
for the excellent work which you have done in the past, and you have continued to maintain that standards. And it's really, I'm very happy that all along you have been without any let up, continue to devote to the cause of food and drug safety. And it was excellent talk. In fact, I just wanted to some kind of a doubt about where, like this question you raised about, mentioned about the cow milk. Now there are a lot of companies who are marketing cow's milk and cow ghee and this and that. But do we really have, and not only that, there's one step further. You have local cows. Again, there's a further refinement that you have Indian breeds of cows. Then you have further that they are only grass-fed cows and the corn-fed cows and this and that. So they make distinction one after another and keep on multiplying the prices. Now, the thing is, whether we really have those many cows in commensurate to the demand which is there in the market and the consumption it is there. That itself is a question. In fact, a few years back, somebody was telling me that Scotch whiskey, which is consumed in India, is almost 10 times what Scotland produces. So, the same thing is like cow's milk and cow ghee. The kind of the demand which is there and people are marketing, it is much more than what the cows in India could probably produce. I don't have statistics on this, but I have a doubt. Another thing is that, do you have any view on that?
Sir, you have valid point you have raised it, sir. And sir, last year we did a lot of survey because currently, because of the lot of Ayush and holistic approach, people are moving towards the cow ghee. And in market, it is flooded with the ghee mark branded cow ghee. Sir, one of the society in
I request all the people to make themselves mute, please.
Sir, I would like to share one interesting investigation we did doing this survey of the cow ghee. Where from the citizen.
Dr. Madhavan, can you mute all other mics except yours?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm doing it, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, sir, it was one reputed cooperative store in Ahmedabad, and there was a complaint about the ghee they are selling under the name of the cow ghee. So, sir, I sent my team in Ahmedabad from Gandhinagar. So that vendor is having a loose 20 kg pack of ghee, and the same ghee he was claiming as a cow ghee. If customer is asking as a cow ghee, from the same container he was giving a loose pack and again packing in his own pack and labeling as a cow ghee and charging around some 500-600 rupees per kg. If somebody is Bombay, migrate from Gujarat, he want to have some ghee from Gujarat, he was delivering that ghee with organic cow ghee with MRP, is preparing himself around 600 rupees per kg, same container, same ghee with the label. So my team has asked from where you are getting this cow ghee. So he has given the purchase bill of Viramgam, some 80 km away from the Ahmedabad. It's there are a lot of cow in the village. So my team immediately, Viramgam team has visited that vendor. So where again we find some 100 kg, 20 kg, 5 teams. So we said, where you give me the production data. So I'm not producing, I'm getting it from Ahmedabad. So again, that came back to Ahmedabad. So again, my team went to the Ahmedabad wholesale market. So again, there was a huge stock. that Ahmedabad guy was getting that ghee from one of the producer of UP. I write to the UP Food Safety Commissioner. Then he said that he's importing the butter from Denmark, melting it, selling as a ghee, because sir, unfortunately, sir, our Food Safety Standard Act is missing in the between the standard of the cow ghee and the buffalo ghee. We have only milk fat standard, and some people are taking advantage of it. And I also taken up the matter with the FSSAI to because there was no any adulteration, but it was some marketing gimmicks and it's some economical fraud, because that ghee was meeting the standard, whether it was selling at 250 rupees or 40 rupees or 60 rupees. So safety was not issue, but it was cheating with the consumer under the name of the cow ghee, sir.
Yeah, so but that is also, you know, even if it is a standard is not there, but it's a misleading claim.
Yes,
You know, the wrong claim they are making, and they are in fact wrong claim. I have myself experienced that, you know, it is widely prevalent, and not only small vendors and you know, small level operators. It is a big international multinational, and everybody is doing it.
yes,
For example, you go to buy juice.
yes.
You will find that in most of the supermarkets, of course, these days after COVID, we are not going to supermarket, but then if you go there, you will find that in most of the shelves, maximum number are fruit drinks, not fruit juices.
Yes,
And the fruit juice, the fruit drink is written somewhere in a very small letter, you know, but in the entire package will be, you know, with the big apples and big fruit pictures and this and that. So it hardly, it gives you an impression that it is fruit juice, but somewhere in there it will be written that it is, you know, fruit drink. But for a consumer, he hardly knows the difference between fruit drink and the fruit juice.
Very true, sir. Yes.
So, and you will find that, you know, just to discourage people, to sell it more, you will find that if you have, you know, 10 shelves of fruit drinks, only one shelf will be of fruit juices.
Yes.
So that, you know, you will be tended to buy what is available first.
Yes.
The similar claims are about butter. You know, even if it is, you know, obviously a very famous company and all that, everybody is using this, like Nutrilite and whatnot.
Sir.
Now, there's hardly butter, but then they say this is butter. It doesn't have TFA. This trans fats. Similarly, you know, in many things where there is no question of, for example, you may have, you know, vegetable oil, but that also claims it is free from trans fat.
Yes.
So, I mean, these kind of claims, I remember there was one case, I think it was Limca, which gave an advertisement where, you know, some young people, they are on a bed of lemons,
Sir.
you know, flying in the cloud. There was some advertisement sometimes, I think about 7-8 years back or 10 years back. So that, you know, gave an impression that the Limca is actually emanating from lemons. So I think they were given notice and they, you know, removed that ad.
Yes, yes.
Now, another thing is about fortified food. This is a serious matter, both from the, you know, misleading claim and marketing, as well as, you know, from the health point of view, because fortified foods, many of them are actually special foods.
Yes.
Like if you have, let's say, iron fortified, everybody is not supposed to take iron fortified. Only the people who have anemia or who have been prescribed, they should take this thing. But you will find that without any kind of warning on the labels, it is being sold. So there is no such thing that, you know, the iron should be taken only by the people who need iron. Otherwise, it can, you know, be very damaging to the liver.
Yes. Yes.
So, and you will find that, you know, the normal item of that fortified will not be available.
Yes.
So you have no option but to buy the fortified. So I think this kind of, you know, practices, wrongful practices are going on, which also needs, you know, attention of all of us. In fact, as a consumer, probably, we should be like today, the whole thing was that, you know, the participatory approach to the food safety. Everybody is responsible. So only thing is that the mode in which a consumer can easily approach the authorities, the concerned authorities, that needs to be publicized.
Yes.
Probably everybody doesn't know that, if I come across such a product, where do I go? Maybe in Gujarat you have maybe publicized, but then supposing elsewhere, who knows the number of food safety officers? They know whom to complain.
Yes.
So I think this area, a link between the consumer and the departments and the enforcers, this is, it's still a weak area.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
These are the
Yeah.
emergency
Sir,
and,
hello.
Who is that?
I'm speaking from Nagpur. I'm a nutritionist, Sabiha Wali. Sir, I would like to add to what God sir has said. What he was speaking is related more to food labeling. So does this act also cover anything on food labeling? Because as he said, whatever is written on the labels is sometimes not true, like he talked about trans fat. As a nutritionist, also I have noted, and I try to educate people about it. So does it include food labeling also? That is and so many times the words are written so minutely on the labels that we cannot read it also. So what is the use?
So
No.
right now we have a under the regulation, food labeling is also a part of this regulation. But yes, sometimes God said also rightly mentioned that even as a consumer, many times I also misguide where to get the best before or shelf life. It's a different place. Packing date is a different, but if you want to find the shelf life or best before, it is somewhere else. But these are some varied and very important point, customer and consumer point of view. And yes, together we need to address the same so that as a citizen, as a consumer, we are not cheated and what we want actually, and we can have enforcement on the first end and the first side, especially this fruit juice and the fruit mix and this shelf life best before plus food. So there are relevant and emerging issues. Hopefully, when there is a CSC meeting, definitely I have noted down all this point, and from my point side, I will also take it with the Food Safety Authority to address it.
And since, sir, we have all stalwarts from Center for Quality and Food Safety, and you are there. I see you talked about so many professionals associated with you, but there are no nutritionists. So maybe if you add some nutritionists to your group, your food labeling part will become very easy to monitor that.
Madam, we have FSA come with the NetProfen. It's a network of the professional. I think students are also a part of that team.
I'm also a part of it, sir.
Yeah,
But then that is just a team. It's not working on the
We have to make
level.
it effective, yes.
Yeah, it has to be more concrete now. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sabiha Wali ji, there are specific regulations in place in respect of labeling requirements. And especially for edible oils and fats, there are specific requirements. There are specific categories under that regulation. There are things which one should not put on the label. There are things that you must put on the label of edible oil. There are different, these two categories are there, especially for edible oils and fats. We don't have any other category with that schedules. I think it's okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Dr. Bani Eri has asked that when samples are taken for testing from FBOs, is it always a surprise check? Dr. Koshia, please.
Yeah. So we have a different type of check and balance in the state. So we have a sampling program. It's a very scientific program so that we can cover all the commodities. And milk is always on the priority because milk is consumed by one and all, and it is a very, very vulnerable to make adulteration. So we have a systematic sampling program. We have given the sampling program to all the food safety officers. We also address the consumer complaint. If we have a complaint, we address that complaint, and if required, we sample that commodity when complaint is issued. We also do surprise visit, random inspection, and now they have moved to the risk-based inspection, risk-based sampling. Where there are more chances of adulteration, we more focus on that area. We hardly focus on the whole grain because there is hardly any chance for nutrition. But yes, some foods where there is chances more, the reduction chances more. We focus that part. So sampling is on complaint base, on regular part of the program, on surprise, a part of inspection. It depends, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So can I also add something to what Dr. Gaur has said? So, sir, you mentioned that for iron fortification, the levels may exceed and it may cause toxicity. So may I add that, like for example, the double fortified salt, the level of iron which is added in the double fortified salt is just going to meet about 30 to 50% of the total iron requirements of the population. So the chances of exceeding the total requirements of the day are not so high, and toxicity levels would not be reached. The problem of iron deficiency is so rampant in our country, and the diets are so deficient, the bioavailability being so low. So yes, I agree with you that if the supplementation is taken along with fortification, and that too for a very long time, then maybe toxicity levels could be reached. But if about roughly say 10 milligrams per day is added via fortification, I don't think the level of toxicity would be reached. This is my view on it, sir. Thank you.
No, thank you. In fact, what you have said is a very valid point. But I was mentioning only from the viewpoint that when a consumer is buying, a consumer is himself or herself not a nutritionist.
Right.
And we would also appreciate that how many of us, when we are taking food, let's say 3 times a day or 4 times a day, are conscious that in the morning I have completed my sodium, let us say, let's say whatever allowance for the day, and in the evening I should avoid sodium. Or for example, the same thing applies to everything, vitamin A or vitamin C or whatever.
Right.
So this applies to even, let us say, fat soluble vitamins. If I am taking a fat soluble vitamin supplement, let us say, at the same time, a food is also coming, which is with fat soluble vitamin, the chances of, I mean, these are very gray areas. I don't think that, the scientists themselves are very clear about such things. For example, like iodine. The iodized salt in India was introduced way back 60, 70 years back. And gradually it was almost made mandatory that only iodized salt will be sold. But I have seen scientific papers where they are talking about, I mean, they are questioning that whether it is really safe for everybody. You see, the question is 90% maybe not showing that result, but maybe 10%, maybe 5% do have problem with excess iodine. And nowadays there is a new wave where people are talking about that, you should not take iodized. They are talking of, non-iodized salt. Now they are talking of sena namak and rock salt and whatnot. So many, I mean, I don't know whether they are marketing gimmicks or there is a health concern about it. But on iodine, I have definitely seen diverse opinion on, the use of salt universally. The same thing will apply to iron. That's why I was mentioning, there are, if you are selling it to the areas where iron deficiency is, rampant, in areas where maybe poor people are there, undernourished people are there. But if you are selling it across the board, the people go and take, iron supplement also. They take mineral supplements also. At the same time, they are consuming this. So this is a little gray area. I mean, I think one has to be a little more cautious about it. Thank you.
Yeah, sir, even I wanted to add something here. I totally agree with Gaur, sir, because I'm working with international and national sports players, and I have seen they are taking so many of supplements which have all the vitamins and even the minerals also. So when we have to tell them about the diet, we definitely have to restrict the iodine and the salt intake, because not exactly iodine, I should say, all the other normal produce, because they are already taking supplements which is required for their
particular performance. So definitely there could be some chances of toxicity. And we have found over the period of times, if they'll keep on taking these things in a normal diet, definitely the toxicity levels are higher. So that is a very valid point, that we really have to check the bioavailability of a produce basically, and whether the person is already taking supplements and not, because they may add to the higher levels of these vitamins and minerals in the diet.
Okay, there is a this question has already been asked many times before us. Then one Mayuri Pawar wants to know whether food will have COVID-19 virus. This question has been asked many times. So yesterday, Gaud Sahib has given a really worthwhile reply for this. I'll just repeat the content of what he has told, that food per se cannot have the virus. Food as a food item that is we are going to eat will not have virus. Means food cannot be a carrier of COVID-19 virus. But the thing is that food itself is being packed. Food reaches you in a condition where it would be packed. The food will have a surface where which people might have handled many times. Many people might have handled it. So the surface can have the probability of occurrence of COVID-19 virus. So that has to be treated at par with any commodity that you are buying from the market. If it is a washable commodity, you wash with water, soap water, or sodium bicarb if possible, then get rid of the COVID. But just mind it, the food assets per se cannot carry the virus. I think I have conveyed the meaning, conveyed the sense to you. Any other questions, please?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Hello, myself Priyanka, sir.
Yeah.
I want to know that what is the view of sir about Maggi? Because lots of rumor are also there in market now also. So is it safe to consume now? Should they tested again from that episode compared to that episode of Lead earlier which was taken place? So Maggi again started selling.
Yeah, I think that question is slightly, flimsy, because as regulators, we cannot comment just like that without going into the technicalities of it. And as we are all either retired or presently working, just like Kosha Sahib is working, we cannot comment that a particular brand is bad.
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
once again, we can do sampling now. You
Yes,
have
yes,
all
that
the
can be done,
powers.
that can be-
So
that can
one
be
more
done.
time sampling should be done according to my view, because practically as a nutritionist, I have lots of question in my mind. What we are serving to our child, what we are serving to our family, is it safe or not? Because we don't have so much time to prepare all the.
I think as a nutritionalist, I or the food safety people need not tell you that it is always better to restrict giving these sort of food to your children.
No, but lay persons are giving, sir. They are not listening also. I used to say better to use Bambino or like Sivaya as a Maggie, but they are not listening because they are seeing advertisement. Na? One small child is sipping the soupy noodles and all. So that's my query, and it will be helpful for other lay persons who are not nutritionists. Na?
Yeah, would you like to comment, sir, Gaur Sahib?
Yeah, in fact, I know. I just wanted to say on the light side, I don't have any official information, nor I have got any testing, let's say, facility. But 2-3 things I just like to observe. One, you see, about the so-called junk food. Now, I personally feel there is nothing called junk food.
Yes.
It depends whom you are giving. And you are, first thing, you have so many nutritionists here. You see, basic point is that we have to give a balanced diet. If a person is taking balance, for example, something you are saying junk because it is carbohydrates. But if the person is short of carbohydrates, what is the problem? Or somebody is already short of calories. There are boys, children who are not getting meals 3 times a day. Now, if one meal he takes somehow, along with fortified with some vegetables and all that, is okay. In the world, people are taking noodle. The whole the Southeast Asia and Southeast Asia and China, and everybody is surviving on noodles and this and that. In the West, people are taking pasta. So, no food can be generically be condemned as bad food. Only thing is that you have to take it as a totality of the balanced diet. Second thing is that it's only a question of what are the contaminants in it. That of course is a serious concern. And in last couple of years back, this issue had come up, but there were a lot of controversies about it. At the same time, we should also be aware that there is a lot of brand competitions. So the rumors are being floated by one brand against other, and this is also corporate fights. So I think here probably the people in power who actually have the power to test. So I think rightly Priyanka has said that it should be. They should take samples and test and clear it quickly.
And I am in the view of, sir, if you are giving permission to advanced nutrition lab also, I am ready to take that sample and ready to test that sample in advanced nutrition lab. If any standard procedure is there in biochemistry.
I'd like to react to that. Priyanka ji, if you know the Act, FSS Act, that provides you as a consumer and anybody, they can take sample and at your cost. That is the only disadvantage, that you have to pay for the cost of sampling, testing. So that is one thing. Secondly, there is a difference between, you said that you are a nutritionist. I just wanted to explain there is a difference between food quality and food safety. Safety is minimum standards which we keep, and regulators ensures that your regulations or laws are such that your safety of the people is kept in mind. So quality wise, as a nutritionist, you can advise not to take them, but it may not be appropriate for the regulator to say that this brand is good, this brand is bad. Like Food Safety Commissioner or anybody else, they cannot commit that. There's somebody else also said, can you suggest which ghee or milk is better? When they are conforming to the food safety standard, standards set by FSS Act, under the Act, then we cannot question, cannot go beyond. Yes, sample can be taken. It can be taken by the regulator. It can be taken by individuals as well. So, like Kushya mentioned, that we take surveillance samples also, and they can be tested. And in case you have to, you want to prosecute them and take action against them, yes, sample can, as a consumer, can be taken by anybody, sent for to the lab for testing. And based on that, it has to be FSSAI recognized NABL lab. Then action will be definitely taken. And Maggie issue has been deliberated in the court of law. It went up to Supreme Court. So from safety point of view, issue is kind of settled. But yes, if you say quality, there are always questions on quality. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
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 Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
I want to ask a question to Dr. Kushya.
Sir.
Hello.
Yes. Yes, please.
Hello. My name is Kev Nath. I'm a retired Joint Director from FSSAI. I have a question. I have seen mostly the samples are collected and analyzed and failed mostly due to the leveling defects, misbending, etc. So I want to know how much percentage of sample rejected on ground of unsafe food, like limit of contaminants or additives, higher limit or microbial parameters.
Sir, it's a valid point. Just I'm giving you a rough trend analysis of my sampling. Every year in Gujarat, we are drawing randomly almost 15,000 plus samples of the different commodities available in the Gujarat market. Again, it's a very small size, 50,000 nothing, because we have a huge number of the commodities available in the market. In doubt, we are a lot of transaction, but still we are coping and able to test 15,000 samples per annum. So out of this, the failure ratio is around 6 to 8%. It includes misbranding, substandard, and unsafe. But fortunately, unsafe is very, very less. I think 0.25% samples are declared as unsafe in my lab. We do a lot of testing of the milk. Yes, milk sample is not meeting the standard and failing, but it is want of fat content or some other parameters, but hardly anything non-injurious health we find out in the milk, like any synthetic milk. So unsafe ratio is very, very less, and and that is credit to my team and my industry that they are more cautious, and at least they are not harming the public health by producing the bad quality or unsafe food.
So even I find in labeling defects, misbranding, mostly it is detected on the ground of this letter size is small or INS number is wrong like that. But I have not come across the samples that this are rejected on the ground on misleading statement. Like I have seen some people write lychee drinks, the boards have mentioned, but it is just a lychee flavored drink. They write very big letter lychee drink. But actually, basically, it is a lychee flavored drink only. Lychee flavor, sometimes they do not write, even they write very small. So the consumer has the impression this is lychee drink or something apple drink. So this type of sample, this action should be taken against this type of abuse and this type of misleading declarations or claim.
Right, sure.
Yeah, those things are basically.
Yeah, just Mr. Nath, nice to hear your voice.
Sir,
And
I missed your presentation. I was out of home for some while.
Yes, but I think your Corona mask is so effective, we can't see you on the video conferencing also.
I'm out of Delhi. I come to my hometown, Assam, and I'm held up here. I want to go back on 22nd of March.
Oh,
so because of lockdown, I have held up.
Yeah, that is why we are not able to see Mr. Nath.
Yes.
So fast.
Sir,
yeah, please.
myself Amrapali. Yeah. Good morning to all. Good afternoon to all. Sir, my question is, as we go to supermarkets, it is open for all kosher, sir, God, sir, whoever like to answer my question. As we go to the supermarkets are serving with the packaged food like rice are packed, something processed and packed. But there's still dals and pulses and this few open also they keep, which are directly open and put it into the barrels. Dry fruits open also, they like Big Bazaar, if you have seen, they will put the barrels in between open rice like Sona Masuri something. So I want to ask that to the extent packed food is safe somewhere as compared to the open pulses and all that, because if some person who is infected, he himself might not know, and he went to the supermarket to buy the products and all, and if he touches or he sneezes or he something. So what during the time of COVID, what precautions should be taken by these supermarkets and all that to what government is going to do to tell them to make it safe for people to take it? Shell, it should be prohibited for the while. Open pulses like and open dals and open sugar should not be provided for the time the COVID-19 is going on, this tenure of this is going on, because there is difference in the rate. If you see the packed, if you take the Mavana sugar and if you take the open sugar, there's a difference of rate. Some people really go with the price, so they will go for the open sugar instead of packed. So if open sugar is more exposed to the environment, more exposed to the people directly touch the pulses, people directly check the rice taking in their hand and all that. So my query is that shall we purchase that type or shall government allow for the while to sell the open products in the market, or it is advisable to go with packed food?
Gangadhar sir would like to answer this, sir.
Sir, मैं बोलता हूँ. Yes. Sir, Madam, it's a very good question. First of all, I would like to clarify that COVID, there is no enough scientific evidence, or there is no scientific evidence that COVID is transmitted through food or food articles. It is not foodborne disease. It's not waterborne disease. Second, the coronavirus are not survive on the surface more than few hours or few days. But whenever we are buying some fruits or vegetable, very, very vulnerable to this infection or so forth, contagious. But if you clean it in the running water and you cook it and eat it, it's safe. But yes, you rightly drawn the point of the supermarket. Under the Food Safety Act, we are not prohibiting these pulses, dal, or the grains, and we are not prohibiting them to sell because the packaging cost incurred and some packaging is little bit 1 rupee or 2 rupees costlier than the loose one. So many times people want to save money and they're tempted to buy this loose dal or the grains. But yet this supermarket, the practices of post-COVID, yes, definitely, because it's just by people and we don't know whose hand is infected. So definitely, as a food safety commission in the state, at least I will prevent in this COVID time this loose article. Well, direct access to the customer, loose items are there. So, but in a small shop, yes, there is a shop vendor himself getting it from the in bag and giving you in a small bag.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I started speaking, but I was not able to. My voice was not going. I just wanted to supplement what Dr. Koshia has said. That you mentioned this sugar and rice. Both of these, like he mentioned that there is no evidence that virus is being transmitted through food. One thing. Secondly, like these two items, we don't eat it raw. We cook it. We heat it. The moment we heat it, and normally all viruses, we go beyond 50 degree. In fact, we boil these things. So even if we go beyond 50, 60 degree, they will not be there because it's a lipoprotein and proteins are denatured at high temperature. So we need not worry unnecessarily about these things, that if it is loose, then it may not be safe. It is safe. Only issue is whatever issue comes with the packaging, that will be in the packed material also and the non-packed also, because when it is on the surface, it will stay on the surface of the packs also. In case that pack is infected and I am touching and not following the protocol, not cleaning my hand, and my hand goes to my mouth. Yesterday also there was a discussion that even if it go to your gut virus, it is not harmful, but it is harmful if it goes to your windpipe, because it reacts differently. So per se virus is not harmful, but yes, we have to take care. In our hands, it's not harmful to me. But if I take my hand to mouth or nose or some eyes, then it will enter my body or my windpipe. That is.
Sir, but I would like to add one thing. Like you were totally saying that after cooking, the lot of this microbes and viruses get dead into the food. But my question is, as we eat the sugar raw, like if we are preparing any shake, we are not boiling that. We are taking a cold shake and we are adding that sugar to it. One point is that we are directly consuming it without boiling it. Next to that, if any person who is infected with COVID-19 and he is touching that product again and again, and he takes it and move in, another person who comes and he take it in his hand, and in the meanwhile, while shopping only, if he touch his nose or if he touch his eyes or he touches anything mouth, and if it gets into him, like sometimes people have habit, I have watched it in the supermarket, they take the sugar, they taste it sometimes. So I feel that is it a matter of concern for a while, for the situations like this, in pandemic situations like this, packaging
No.
is playing a important role.
No, I'll agree with you that whenever any infected person, and we don't know who is infected, there may
Yes,
be
yes.
silent
Yes.
people who have not shown any, they are asymptomatic, but still carry on the virus. And they may carry it for 1 week, 15 days or more even, there are evidences. So we are kind of taking chance, and ultimately it is the immunity of the body. But yes, we are taking these precautions. That you are saying the package material, the person who's packing there, if somehow he comes in contact with your packed material, which is packed inside a plastic container, even that can catch the virus. There may be, but then
Yes.
we allow those sugar or rice or any other things which we buy for few days. So we extract that after a few days or at a certain temperature, the virus may become ineffective. Because ultimately it's protein, like I said. So
Yes, sir.
with time also, it becomes denatured. So that chances are there. But you cannot rule out totally that infection may not come packed, unpacked, or like you said, that in case we use loose sugar, in case that sugar is really heavily loaded with virus, there will be no way to know that. Yes, that can happen theoretically. But what we are trying to have precautions. And despite
That
these
means
precautions,
in this content we can put some what I have felt, we should put some precaution statements that do not touch the food product, whatever you want to buy. For the meanwhile, the government or the local authorities or the supermarkets, if they are
that
selling something openly,
that protocol is there. You are right. That protocol is there. If you go to FSSA site, there is protocol for handling these things. There,
yes,
even
handling should be careful. So I think because everybody is do not belong to food safety and all that, so I think that handling instruction should be mentioned on the site of purchase, or where the supermarket handlers are doing that. So I would like,
Yeah.
because you all are doing so much in the sector of food safety, and I appreciate you
Yeah,
all.
these people should have. Why only food? Even if you buy shoe and it comes to my house and the container may have virus.
Yes.
It is the protocol exists for everybody. It is on whether you see FDA, WHO, or Health Ministry guidelines. They have issued guidelines. But you are right, even the food business operator, whether he's dealing with food or non-food item, they are following precautions. They have sanitizers. Everybody except with mask. In fact, we can't enter the shop now. They don't allow you to touch. If you go to the market, they don't allow you to touch and feel the item now, product now. Even I'm talking of non-food items, because they feel that, and that rightly so, that everybody who's handling that food may have virus. So that precaution, we have to live with it. It has become a part of our life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I think we are exceeding our time. I'll very quickly read one question and try to answer that myself. Is it safe to reuse oil used for frying? Asked by Sunita Kumari. In fact, FSSA has notified the specifications for or standards for reusage of vegetable oils. The main culprit is that it's of that the total polar compounds, it should not exceed more than 25%. And there are other conditions also when you go for deep frying, the polymerization takes place. There will be production of trans fatty acids also, and a lot of other changes are taking place. And a lot of variants are there, like lot of parameters are there. The degree in which you are frying, the oil in which you are frying, and the material that you are frying. All these contribute to the destruction of vegetable oil molecules. So blatantly telling that you use only 2 times or 3 times, that does not carry much of meaning. But general practice, what we people say is that don't use a single oil for frying more than 2 or 3 times max. And don't add this oil partly or fully to the fresh lot. You discard that oil totally, throw it out, and use fresh oil. That is more economical in the end of your lifetime. Because otherwise you will be buying unhealthy or unhealth or health issues by reusing these oils. You can refer the notification of FSSAI. Thank
I
you.
would like to add here as an enforcement agency in Gujarat. The moment the FSI, because FSI TPC value was not previously part of the regulation.
Yeah.
Because when it was adopted, some time was given to the FBOs and the authority to implement it. So, sir, what we did, we brought these handheld devices, the Presto machine. Within a fraction of time, if you put a rod in the boiling oil, immediately, simply it gives the reading on the scale, and it is 25 or less than 25, below 25. It's with the change color. It's less than 25, it's green color, near 25, it's yellow color, and more than 25, it's red color. It's harmful.
Yeah.
So we have 125 handheld devices. All the inspectors are given that device as a part of that kit. And sir, also I would like to share that experience in Ahmedabad. We have a famous samosa, famous punafari, famous dal vada, samosa, and papadas. These are the 4 items consumed by the Gujaratis. And we have tasting of 10 famous outlets of the Ahmedabad. So, sir, when the law was not in force, just we did the survey. So, out of 10, 6 oils were not meeting the standard. So, almost 60% samples were failing on top TPC because it's a small survey. Then we did a lot of IC program, training program, meeting, and now it has come down to a failure on top TPC. And we also connected with them with the University of India. Whatever oil, which is not because it is harmful to the environment, it's just for the land. So the biodiesel aggregator, they collect that oil, they pay them, and it won't go away from the food supply chain. So this is how we are also taking care of this TPC value in the heating and cooking oil.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we can wind up here.
Yeah, thank you.
We have taken up almost all questions. Maybe some questions are that we can take it later. So anybody can forward questions to the center, to my email ID. We'll try to reply that thing. So I thank you all for attending this webinar. And this is the third of the series of webinars that the Center for Quality and Food Safety has conducted as part of its World Food Safety Day, Food Safety Week celebration. And thanks a lot to Dr. Kaushya for being with us in spite of you, despite your busy schedules and all. I thank you very much on behalf of the Center for Quality and Food Safety. Thank you, Sir Gaud Saab, for attending in spite of you are busy. You told me that you are busy somewhere today. I'm grateful to you for being with us for some time. Thanks for you. Thank you, Rangadraji. And I think Jain Saab has left. Thanks all for being a part of this webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
ओके जी, कृष्ण जी, धन्यवाद.
Yes. अच्छा हुआ साहब.
बहुत बढ़िया. Excellent.
तो आपके प्रोग्राम.
Thank you. It was really a very good discussion. I think very useful.
Yeah, very active discussion today.
Yes.
And beyond the
participative also.
Yes, yes, participation also. I mean, people were really active.
Yes.
That's good thing. And not confining to a specific subject. People are, I mean, asking questions from different areas and different disciplines. That's good.
Okay then. Bye-bye.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you very much, sir. And tomorrow
Thank
we
you,
have
sir. Thank you, Gautam.
tomorrow AFST is having our webinar at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll speak to you, sir. I'll just speak to you
All
personally.
right. All right.
Yes.
See.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madhavan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
I'm
Dr.
ending up.
Madhavan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madhavan sir.
Oh, thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Madhavan.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Ah, kya baat hai? Where are
Hello,
you?
Dr. Madhavan.
Yes.
That I think this I found that this my video is could not be mute because it is written that disabled by the this thing.
अरे मैं कुछ काम में हूँ लेकिन सर.
No, you could have done it. You could have switched it on. Disabled मैंने सबका किया है, लेकिन you could have opened yours individually.
अच्छा, but I tried, I could not.
अब करके देखो.
Okay, let me see. It is now a start video, or now it is earlier it could not be done.
Oh.
That is why you could not see
I
me.
see.
This is why Gaurav could not see me.
Oh. Now
okay, next
now
time.
you are seeing yourself.
Yes, I can see you also.
Okay, but I didn't see. I didn't know. I could not identify you. I've seen it in the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Nice to see you.
Okay, next time we'll join because yesterday I could not attend. Gaurav, I missed. Really, I missed Gaurav.
Yesterday, Gaurav gave a wonderful lecture. Very good lecture.
Yes, I don't know. It's my mind.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Okay.
matter. Don't go out of your mind.
Next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Madhavan.
Yeah. Fine.
Today,
Thank you.
this morning I seen your message. That is why today I thought I should join.
Okay. Good. So nice.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello. Who is
Yes,
that?
sir. Can we get a recording of today's because
Who is that?
myself Priyanka sir.
Priyanka.
I talked
Yeah,
yesterday.
you just give me a message that you need the recording. I'll send you.
Okay, and the rest two webinars PPT sir. Actually, I missed that webinars somehow. So I had
Oh.
attended today only.
Okay, yesterday's I have really with me yesterday's. Day for yesterday we had some problem. There was an issue in recording it. The first one. Yesterday was the Gaur Saab's lecture. I have the full recording is with me. I can share it with you, no problem. You give me a request.
Yes, sir. I will be sending to your WhatsApp, sir. My mail ID also.
Yeah, but
So,
okay.
Mail ID will do, sir.
Yes, mail ID will do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much, sir. I'm sorry for troubling you again and again.
No,
asking some
not at all.
more questions.
We are meant for that.
And it's
Yeah.
a very wonderful session, sir. Very like interactive session.
Interactive, yeah. You people only made it interactive. See, my job is to connect you, to bring it all in one
Yes,
fold.
sir. Yes, in
Then you
future
make
also.
it active. If you are not active, the session becomes very, very, very boring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Amrapali.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for having a chat with me, sir. And in future also, I will be happy to join your webinars in future.
Yes, surely. Will be our pleasure. I'll inform you accordingly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Tomorrow 5 p.m. we have a webinar.
Okay.
5
So,
p.m. Same entry credentials.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have any information or a message? Printed
I
message?
think I've already passed on the message. I'll read it again. Once again I'll send you a message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe, sir. Stay
Yeah.
safe.
You
Bye,
too.
sir.
You too.
Take care, sir.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
So who is there again? Okay. Amrapali is from where? No, you have muted yourself. You have muted yourself.
Now, is it audible?
Yeah, now it's okay. It's audible. Yes.
Yes, sir. I am from Gurgaon. We did both together advanced manufacturing in FSSI. This course, advanced manufacturing.
I see. I see. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I remember. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
You and I were both for in one team for
Right.
the
Right.
presentation.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
For there, I met you, and from that time, I'm following you.
Oh, good.
Whatever
Thank you.
the
Thank you so
content
much. Thank you so
webinars
much.
you were
Yeah. Yeah.
sending to me.
We are also in Gurgaon.
Yeah, you told me that day, but we were not able to talk so much because you went out because you were getting delay.
Yeah.
So you have to move rush to Gurgaon, and it was
Fine.
evening
Yes.
hours.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you said that I can call you anytime.
You,
We shared a number even with it.
yeah, you're working somewhere, no?
No, sir. Actually, I'm looking for the job now. It is I got married and children and all that, but I'm working little bit from the home for people in food safety. I'm attending the trainings and all that.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
I worked 5 years with Coca-Cola
And I remember your story. Yes. Yes. I remember you. Yeah, you told me
because
that.
my child was small, so I cannot
Yes.
go somewhere.
Okay.
So, but in the meanwhile, I was not sitting alone and I was taking home tuitions for
Yeah, that's a good
children
thing.
and
That's
all.
a good thing. And let this lockdown, etc., be over. The things will open up. And you people have a lot of avenues. You have a lot of opportunities now. Because
Yes,
now
I'm looking for it.
the total impetus of society will be laying on healthy food, good eating habits.
Yes.
So that is going to
So
be
now
the order of the day. Yeah.
I did 2 more trainings from this. Now one COVID-19, which was held 2-3 days back from FSSI site, TOT, that was TOT. And I have even cleared that street food vending one. I have done that completely.
Oh, I see.
So 3 trainings in a row, and then I did whatever FSSI is doing, like Eat Right Meal and all that. I attend them. I go to the sites, and now I want to get enrolled for this Hygiene Mitra and all that. But sir, I don't know how.
That is going on. That is not yet finalized. Hygiene Mitra issue, because they wanted we people to get associated. I mean the association of Food Scientists and Technologies. We will empanel university students and junior faculties. That is what the understanding now is. But I don't know, something is wrong there. Things are not moving.
Okay. Because
Probably
and sir, I have one query. I really want to talk to you whenever you will be free. I will be calling you. I want to get registered that I have cleared the TOTs for advanced manufacturing, street vending, and this COVID. When the certificate will be rising, I don't know. I want to get registered on FSSAI site for that.
No, there's no need of registering. You are already registered.
No, for the trainers.
No. Once you clear the training course, your name becomes there. You are the.
But sir, I checked it. It is not coming on the site. Hello. Hello. Yeah, you are not audible.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir, you are not audible.
No, I am okay.
Yeah, now.
Yeah, I'm all right. No, but see, no, I don't know. Your name should be there. When I've seen my name there.
Sir,
They got a master list. You can see that master list. TOT
sir,
list.
can you send me the link if you have?
I'll have to see that. I'll have to work it out. Let me see.
Okay, I will ping you on personally on your number, my email address.
Yes,
okay.
Sure.
So if I need any guidance, that time also you told me that you also, I think, live in Gurgaon only.
Yeah, yes. 56.
So you told, yeah. Actually, because of COVID, I'm not able to move to my new home.
Nobody. We just don't go out at all.
So I will be also shifting in the meanwhile to Golf Course Road. We have bought the home there. I told you that day also, last year also. So you told me that you are near to that place only.
Right.
So if I will be needing any help,
please.
I will be pinging you and calling you.
Sure. Feel free.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your guidance, sir. Thank you. Okay, bye.